everybody, let's take a closer look at Coming Home. Inspiration. So what inspired Coming Home? This one was a creation actually that I made during Ryan Tedder's monthly class. This was the first song that I attempted to write using some of the tips and tricks from Ryan on how he finds inspiration with his songs, how he crafts songs. So that's really what inspired this more so than any specific artist or track like I usually talk about in the past. This one was all about finding a vibe that I really liked, laying some lyrics down and trying to find the hook, and then following kind of what Ryan said to do, which is what he does when he writes songs. And so this is the song that emerged when I wrote according to his plans. Instrumentation. So what instruments did I use on this one? I alluded to finding a vibe a second ago for this track, and so to do that, I used my guitar, fed through my iPad. I used the K7D plugin for that one to kind of give it a weird vibe and tone. You can sort of hear it in the back of the track, which we'll get to in a minute here. In terms of the GarageBand stuff, I used the 808 bass, the Brooklyn drum kit to lay some of the rhythm groundwork. Additional things, so I used retro piano from Audio Kit for one of the slinky melody lines that you'll hear during the pre-chorus, but then also Ting by Clev Grand. I used that for the snaps. I thought that was the best snappy sound I could find. So speaking of Coming Home, let's give it a listen, shall we? I really wanted to give it kind of a, I think I had Joe Cocker in my mind, trying to really come up with something that was passionate and energetic too, but like a little straining. It's a little kind of outside of my vocal range sometimes. You can hear those snaps, good echo on them. I thought that was a good percussive trick. Here comes the chorus.
Can we just try again? Sorry that I hurt you too.
The ooze added to this chorus.
I'll stay true to you. Tell me that you're coming
Comes a big
home.
snap.
But I'm afraid you'll never return.
And here's the bridge. The bridge, the build, no drums here.
I'm
Build
afraid you'll never
the
return.
passion, build the tension.
You'll never return, 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 you'll never
Final
return.
chorus, here it comes.
Sorry that I hurt you too. I will stay true to you. Tell me that you're coming home.
And there you have it. Let's take a look at the lyrics, shall we? The lyrics. So the lyrics for this one, again, were very inspired by the way that Ryan Tedder writes songs, and kind of how he does it is to do some kind of gibberish phrasing throughout to try and find melodies and identify words. And for whatever reason, the gibberish that emerged from my words was the phrase "coming home." And so that was the phrase that I latched onto and tried to formulate lyrics around it. And so ultimately, I think the theme that I emerged with for this particular song was about someone wanting another someone who isn't home to come home. And so that could be, one lover to another lover. It could be a parent to a child. I think any of those kind of use cases would work here for this particular song. But that's where I ended up with. Really powerful. I think there's a really good narrative thread that goes through the whole song, the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, as well as the bridge. The structure. What structure did I use for this one? Fairly standard, but it moves pretty quickly for a pop song. I know that in Ryan's course he talked about bridges kind of being dead in terms of today's pop music because songs have to move so quick. This song's under 3 minutes, which is kind of the sweet spot for modern pop music these days, but I did manage to work a bridge in there. The chorus is kind of short, but I managed to work a bridge in there. It's that building part that really builds up the tension and urgency, the you'll never return part. But apart from that, it's just verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, done. The cover. It looks like this. It's kind of a brick wall. This is actually an outtake from one of the photo shoots I did very, very long ago when I first started to do do TLNGO promo. It's actually of a school near where I live. That's where we did the photo shoot, and that's just a sort of a snapshot of that particular wall. And the reason I felt like going into the archives and bringing it back out for this one is because I thought that my house is made out of bricks. It's strong. It's that metaphor. It's even like something like the Three Little Pigs, right? Always build your house out of bricks. Don't build it out of something weak. And so I thought that was a really fitting metaphor for this particular song. Retrospectively. So again, this is like the part of the program where we talk about what I would have done differently. Tried a lot with this song. So the way the class works that I took with Ryan is you start a song and kind of work alongside him, following his videos, and you have a certain amount of time to finish up your track. Right? So my track was certainly not done. It was not in the state that you're hearing it now when the class ended. So what I had to do ultimately is go back to it after that, and that gave me some opportunity to experiment quite a bit. I think some cool things emerged from having a little bit more time than what the class allowed. Additional pieces I could have bolted on. I think I probably at some point was toying with trying to fold some orchestral stuff in here, making it a little bit more lush from that regard. So I guess if I had to do something differently, if I had more time spent with this track, I think I would probably add some orchestral elements. I'd probably also try and do a little something else with the vocals, like something additional. I think the oohs are a pretty good touch, but maybe there's an opportunity for a backing vocal in here somewhere or a harmony that I don't know that I fully explored when I recorded this.